Greetings, B-movie aficionados.
All right, hello and welcome to Couple of Flicks. I am Tristan.
I am Nick.
And I'm Zach.
And before we get started, have either of you seen anything recently that you want to talk about?
I watched the entire Leprechaun franchise.
Nice.
With St. Patrick's Day coming up, thought I might as well.
Why not?
Good idea.
Yeah, they're most of them are terrible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap.
But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun one to watch, yeah.
Which would you say was your favorite, and which would you say was your least favorite?
My favorite is the newest one, Leprechaun Returns.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's one of the ones without Warwick Davis.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then my least favorite, probably Leprechaun 4 in space.
Oh, yeah.
God, that was so bad.
I remember that one being terrible.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
I don't really remember anything about it other than it being terrible. So I think, if memory serves, I think my least favorite was like the second one. I don't know. For some reason, that one really pissed me off. I don't know why. There's something about that one that just annoyed the crap out of me.
Yeah, that one or Back to the Hood.
Oh yeah.
And then there was Leprechaun Origins, which
I didn't see that one.
That's the other one without Warwick Davis. They try to reboot it.
Oh no.
Oh, Jesus.
And instead of like a wisecracking thing, it was a creature.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
It didn't talk or anything. Yeah.
That's lame.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's shitty.
Sounds kind of boring. Oh my god. It's hard to picture a Leprechaun movie without Warwick Davis. Like, because he is the Leprechaun. I mean, he's the one that everybody always quotes and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
The newest one's pretty good.
Oh, good. Okay. The Leprechaun Returns, you said it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I even heard about that one.
When did that one come out?
2018, I think.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
It was like a straight to sci-fi thing.
Oh.
Okay. That makes sense.
I forgot all about those movies. I didn't even realize they were still making them.
Yeah.
I thought they just kind of quit and called it good after Back to the Hood. Yeah.
They should have stopped long before then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably would have been a good idea. How well does the first one hold up? Because I haven't seen that. I've only seen that one once, and I don't remember it. I think.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But like, I don't see Jennifer Aniston as like a teenager, so it was kind of weird.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Wow.
Well, now you can lay claim to the fact that you've watched the entire Leprechaun series.
Yeah.
Be proud.
Yeah, I would be. Did you watch anything recently, or?
No, not really. I've been
Yeah.
just gaming too much.
Yeah, good.
Playing Sekiro, and then I've been trying to get back into Overwatch,
Oh yeah,
getting competitive in that, doing the ranked stuff.
yeah. A lot of people I know like Overwatch.
Yeah, it's fun. But I have been watching Schitt's Creek
Oh, nice.
on Netflix. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I watched that. That was funny.
Yeah, I'm on like season 3 now. I've been
Okay.
binging that. So no movies, but I've been watching that. So good, so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't really watch anything that would be like interesting to talk. I mean, well, not really interesting to like people who probably watch or listen to this. But I mean, I don't know. I watched Ingmar Bergman's Crisis of Faith trilogy. That's which I loved, but I mean, I probably there's not really much to say about it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh yeah, Swedish filmmaker Ingmar Bergman, who did like Seventh Seal and like Cries and Whispers and films like that. I'm just now that now that I'm gonna more than likely spend a lot of time at home. I'm probably gonna, for the next few weeks, I'm probably gonna end up watching like a lot of films like that I haven't watched yet that I've been meaning to.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm gonna catch up on my movie watching
I've
over
been
the course of the next month.
I've been trying to watch Grizzly Man.
Oh, nice.
I had that on my list for this week, but I just kept forgetting and putting it off. And I was
Yeah.
like, but I'm gonna watch it soon.
That
I
might
want to see it.
that might be. I mean, that's easily in my top 5 favorite documentaries.
Yeah, I heard
man.
it's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love Grizzly Man. Man, I've watched that one maybe like 5 or 6 times now.
Nice.
So interesting and weird.
I gotta check it out then. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So let's get started. So we'll start with your pick, Zach, and your choice was.
My choice was Body Melt.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot going on in this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the basic plot is this vitamin company, Vimuville.
Yeah. And
Close, I think. I don't know.
it's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a New Zealand, Australian type of.
Oh yeah. That I didn't even realize it was gonna be an Australian movie.
Yeah, me neither.
Neither did I. That was a pleasant surprise,
Right.
because like as soon as I heard the Australian accent, I knew, oh no, this is gonna be really messed up, because like
Yeah.
I've seen a fair number of New Zealand, Australian horror movies, and they're almost always really sick and disgusting. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Right when they got in the car on the other side, the driver was like, "Oh, this is not in America."
yeah.
That's when I noticed.
But so yes, this Vitamin Company.
Yeah. I guess they were trying to put out like a superhuman kind of pill or something. Is that
I couldn't.
is that
It's-
right?
It's some kind of medication, I think. Like they didn't really-
Maybe I don't know.
yeah, something like that, or like or some kind of sedative applement, or I don't know. They kind of quickly summarized it really fast at the beginning,
Yeah.
and they didn't really ever bring it up again, So, and like if you're not really paying attention to the beginning, which I wasn't, because I was kind of adjusting to the accent,
Yeah.
I kind of just missed it,
I had to turn subtitles on for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, because like some of these accents are quite thick.
Yeah, and
some
like
of these-
I don't understand some of their slang either,
Yeah.
Yeah, and they talk really fast, and yeah, it can be a little tricky to keep up. You kind of have to get used to it. But anyway, so yeah, so it's some kind of supplement or steroid or medication, right?
Yeah. And they send it out to this different houses on this cul-de-sac. So you follow each house
Mhm.
and how they get fucked up by this drug.
Yeah, and it's pretty much just a series of episodes, pretty much, like
Yeah.
and scenarios.
Yeah. And then with the overall plot of these detectives trying to find out what's going on.
Yeah. So, what did you think of this one?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking wild.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning, like just naked people doing drugs with some
Yeah.
ballin' ass music. I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Oh yeah, the music was
like the soundtrack
incredible.
was good for this movie. I
It
thought.
was
Yeah.
very 90s.
Oh, wicked. Yeah, no, I loved it. I'm still kind of trying to process it a little bit, just because like some of it was pretty gnarly.
Oh god, yeah. This movie was fucking wild.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I definitely really loved it though, and I mean, this was totally the type of movie that would be fun to show to people who like horror movies and or want to get into them and maybe aren't quite used to these kinds of films. Like,
This would be a good one. I don't know.
well, I mean,
This one was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
yeah, the makeup was something else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It was. I mean, there were a lot of very strong images and ideas.
Oh yeah, this was very graphic.
Yeah, and like The one thing that kind of makes me a little squeamish is like snot.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's
so
so fucking funny.
yeah, so that was a bit. Yeah, there were a couple parts where it was just a bit like hard for me to look at the screen, but
Yeah.
it was fun though. I mean, it was really entertaining.
When the snot guy like first snotted into the sink and it started moving around. I was like,
Yeah.
what? The snot's alive?
That was insane. Yeah, so everybody in this movie is getting sick. So, do you want to talk about the characters, or?
Sure. I guess we can go like each house, I guess.
Yeah.
So there was the single guy,
Yeah.
the couple that was pregnant, the whole 4-person family,
Yeah.
and then I didn't understand the relationship of the two dudes living together. Are they brothers?
I think they were brothers. Yeah, that's the impression I got. Because I couldn't really figure out what else they could be. Yeah.
And those,
I'm not sure they were brothers. I think at one point they kind of mentioned that they were friends or something, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
friends, yeah,
Maybe they were classmates. I don't know.
yeah. I didn't get that, but their fucking story was like the craziest, thing.
that was wild.
Like, the most random thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that one was definitely interesting. Like, so they go to like this sort of sketchy area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're driving on a trip somewhere, and somehow their windshield breaks. You don't find out how.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so I thought they were just driving that and it was already broken.
Like the makeshift.
I don't know.
I don't know.
They just saw them driving it broke. I was like, huh? Okay, that's what they're doing.
And
Yeah.
somehow they end up with the only other guy associated with this company and his weird, I don't know, were they inbreds or what?
I think so.
Yeah, it was like some kind of weird.
They were hillbillies.
Yeah, almost like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of thing, or
They were
or
definitely-
Deliverance.
Yeah, inbred, because the guy was yelling at that one chick to say, "Keep it in the family."
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah. He got really mad because she like flirts with one of the locals, and he's like, "No, that's not what you do. It's us, not them." They were all deformed looking. They all kind of, yeah. I mean, it seemed to be kind of like that kind of thing.
I think it was like somewhat maybe racist, because I know it was. I think they were going off that Aboriginal kind of culture that Australia has. They always make fun of them for being like stupid or some shit. Like they're hillbillies, rednecks, American rednecks. But
Okay.
I don't know if it was.
I mean,
I think that's what they were.
I didn't get the impression that they were Aborigines. But the area that they were in though was kind of deserted and looked like maybe the type of location that one would find people like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, because I've seen Australian movies like 10 Canoes and films like that, which I really love, by the way. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't really get the impression that these people were sort of intended to be like that, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not Australian, so I couldn't really say for sure.
Yeah. Those hillbillies blew my mind too. It was just like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on?
It was incredible. There's like they kill a kangaroo
With
I
a
think
rock. I was
yeah,
like, oh yeah.
yeah.
That's
And then they like what they eat. They like eat
They, like,
it.
yeah,
they
cut
eat
its
the
throat.
adrenal
And,
gland.
yeah, like,
That was nuts.
And actually, there was some kind of cannibalistic thing going on because at one point, like the waitress, she eventually gets the younger gentleman into like a shed, and then she just randomly smashes his nuts and eats his face. It's just
Yeah.
like, what the heck is?
Stabs him right in the dick.
Yeah. And I just it was
You want a love bite? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
which that was a very unexpected twist.
Yeah.
yeah. That
Oh,
just this whole scene was unexpected to me.
Yeah.
fucking wild.
And then yeah, so there was that. There was the whole thing about the guy buying detergent.
Oh yeah, at the
Yeah,
beginning.
Right at
Yeah.
the beginning.
He was
Yeah.
drinking. I laughed hard because the store clerk when he saw him drinking detergent, his reaction was just like, fuck. It was the funniest fucking reaction ever.
Yeah, the acting in this movie is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's really funny. You know, everybody exaggerates everything. Even the detectives manage to overact, which is incredible to me. You know, because they had like almost no dialogue, and somehow they managed to make the most out of their dialogue. Yeah, I mean, this movie definitely doesn't mess around. You know, it like tosses you right into the cesspool within the first 2 minutes. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he like buys detergent, and like his neck is all messed up, and he's like keeps drinking it and dumping it all over himself, and then like.
I don't get it.
What
What is
the
it with
heck were those
detergent and shit too? Because isn't this another thing that like people drinking detergent in these kind of movies before too?
I mean,
feel.
it seems familiar.
Yeah. I don't get it.
I don't know. But like he's on the ground, and he's like he's foaming at the mouth, and then all these weird like tentacle things start coming out of his neck. And then there was the whole thing with the pregnant woman, and like I'm not quite exactly. I mean, I know that I saw what I think I saw, but I'm just not quite sure how to describe it. I mean, there was, I don't know.
I don't fucking know what the hell happened there.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
I was gonna like doing the placenta, that whole thing, that what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her fucking placenta falls out and then attacks her husband.
Yeah.
Kills her husband.
Yeah, and he gets blamed for killing her.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of a funny touch, you know. I get like it's. I mean, the film really is pretty much impossible to predict. Like, there's not it. I can't really like. There's no way to really tell what's gonna happen next in any of these scenes where like, and I think that's why like that was part of what made it really entertaining. It was just how wild and offbeat and out of left field so much of it was.
Yeah.
You know.
It was insane.
Yeah. And like you mix that with like the crazy makeup and the effects and stuff and the outrageousness of everything that's going on. I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Definitely an interesting one.
Yeah. It had its own kind of style. I mean, yeah.
Really good gore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really, that was probably like the best. That was the best part of the movie, was probably the effects, and there was a lot of them too.
Oh yeah, my favorite one was probably the kid's face.
On the skateboard.
After
Yeah.
the ham. That was hilarious.
That kid was hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
He says he's like fucking. I'm gonna fucking rip this up or something like that. But he does oh, he did. Okay, all right. Yeah, you weren't lying. He was doing flips and shit. Like, whoa.
Yeah,
man.
and then he lands right on his face and smashes his head open.
Right.
It's like, whoa.
After his sister said, "I hope you break your neck."
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Damn.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Oh man. Yeah, no, it was hysterical, the whole movie.
Yeah.
I'd totally watch it again.
And the mom, she died of a giant ass tongue choking her.
Oh yeah. That was brutal. The sound design in this was pretty wild. You could definitely feel some of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Some of it was pretty gross.
Yeah, it's a lot of like wet sound.
Oh yeah.
Really loud too.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
People just melting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the title definitely, you know, yeah, it definitely describes the movie pretty well. There's a lot of body melting.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
So,
The snot death was still the fucking craziest.
yeah. I'd have to say that was the part that I think really, I mean, it was disgusting, but that's, you know, it won my heart though.
Yeah.
How'd you hear about this one?
I heard about it from because Vinegar Syndrome released it,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and then I eventually bought it, and I hadn't watched it yet.
Oh,
That's
right.
usually how I try to choose. Is like, I own this movie. I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna pick it.
There you go. Might as well.
Cool. Yeah, well, yeah, I hadn't heard of this one, but yeah, after I watched it, like I mean, I started looking up a lot of like horror films from Australia and New Zealand, and yeah, there was a lot on that list that I totally forgot about, so I jotted a bunch of them down, you know, because I definitely want to explore some more of those kinds of films.
Yeah, me too. I've only seen like a few.
Yeah.
I think the only one that really comes to mind is Undead.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. That one, that's that one that's like sort of like a zombie movie, but it's also sort of like an alien invasion type of thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one being kind of weird.
It was very weird.
Yeah.
This might be the first Australian movie I've seen, or the horror.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this must have been quite an interesting one to start with.
Oh yeah. I was just blowing my mind like every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Yeah. No, I'm glad I saw it. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a fun one.
Really was. I'd probably give it I'd give it a 4 personally out of 5, like, because I enjoyed it a lot. I'd definitely watch it again. So.
Yeah.
I think I gave it 3.5.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I would give it a 3.5 probably. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Body Melt is definitely worth watching.
And what I want to know is, why was there like that main lady downing the pills as well, if she knew it was gonna kill her? Like, it was killing everyone, and like at the end she downed the pills and then her face melted. Like, why?
Maybe they were like anti-stress pills or something, which, if that's what they were, they definitely didn't work.
Right.
Oh yeah, there was one like small plot point that maybe has something to do with it. That fucking inbred guy had that little vial of stuff. He's like, this is the missing ingredient.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was, and it went by so fast. I was like, what happened, huh?
Yeah, I might have missed it.
Yeah, he had some little red vial of something, and I missed it.
I think that was the thing that would make it a complete working vitamin or whatever.
Okay.
Oh.
I think that's what it was.
Because he was the other half of that science team.
Well, if that was a plot point, that's a really random, strange way to put in a plot point, like in the middle of this strange, like hillbilly bizarro sequence, and then in the middle, like one of them has like a vial or something.
Yeah, it went by too quickly.
Yeah, it's a pretty fast-paced film. It's also a pretty short film. It was like 80-something minutes, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it went by really fast, you know, but it was never boring.
Yeah.
I mean,
I laughed. Another part I laughed was, or thought was fucking weird, that hidden door they went through, and that one of the guys, he like sat on an old lady that was watching pornography.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? And she was just staring at it, and then he just ran out the door.
That was so funny.
What the hell? Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of really random, inexplicable sort of moments in this film. That
those big ass guys with the high pitched voices.
Yeah,
that was fucking hilarious.
That was great. I mean, this is basically a comedy, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, Body Melt. That came out 1993. 1993.
2 or 3, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Body Melt, 1990. Let's say 1993. Yeah, it's worth seeing.
Yeah, check it out.
All right. So, next film was your choice.
My choice. Class of 1999.
Which came out in 1990, I think.
I think it was like something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it was a sequel too.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that when I picked it.
Yeah. Well, luckily it doesn't really even share any relation with the first film. I mean, I guess it takes place in the same world. I guess.
Did you see the first
but,
one?
Yeah, I've seen the first one a couple times actually, and I rewatched it after I watched this and actually there's also a sequel to this called Class of 1999 Part 2, The Substitute, and I watched that as well.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that's funny. Oh god!
But I'm getting ahead of myself. Go on.
Okay, yeah. So this movie is I guess a post-apocalyptic world of some sort type movie. I don't know. It world didn't end, but it went to chaos.
Yeah.
For some.
Basically, like North America has kind of become like a gangland.
Yeah. Yep. So like it said in 92, high schools started rebelling, and then by 97, it was all chaos and everything.
Yeah.
And
there's free fire zones.
Yeah, there's that free fire zone, which is where the movie takes place. I guess cops aren't allowed or don't go in there. Because they're too dangerous or some shit. I don't know.
It's like out of their jurisdiction, I guess.
Yep. And we're following basically two gangs in their story. The Black Heart and the Razorheads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just two gangs of high schoolers going to school, and we're following some kid in the Black Heart gang that just barely got out of jail for doing something bad.
Yeah.
And it's that typical, I don't want to do anything, I was a badass, but I don't want to do anything bad to go back.
I want to go the straight path and be clean and not be involved in crime.
And fucking all his gang friends were giving him shit.
Yeah.
Like his brother called him a douchebag now.
Oh yeah.
It's like, you're a douchebag now.
Hey, douchebag. Yeah.
So so they're they're all going to school, which I don't really understand why in this world they're going to school at all.
There's pretty much no point.
I don't like, why are they going to school? Why do they even bother even try? Like, even if someone was saying you got to go to school, why would these kids? They seem like rebels. Why would they even listen and bother going?
Yeah.
Like, even if someone was telling them to.
And the school's clearly like not in good shape.
Yeah. Everyone was fucking doing whatever the hell they wanted.
Yeah.
And so I guess, the principal hired these 3 teachers to teach this one school. It was Kennedy High is where the movie takes place. And so we're following Cody go through this school, and before they go to school, you have to give away all your weapons and shit like that.
Yeah.
And,
there's a metal detector.
Yeah, and everyone's allowed weapons outside of school. Apparently, they're just shooting guns off. That's one thing I noticed. Like when they're in like their houses and shit, and just walking downtown, like the sound effects in the background, you can just hear explosions going off all the time and gunfire.
Yeah,
which was interesting.
This movie is insanely violent.
Yeah,
insanely violent. Like every 5 minutes, people are getting killed. People are constant. Like the bikes are constantly going through windows. Bombs are blowing off left and right. People's bodies are flying in the air. I mean, it's just crazy. There's just a lot of gang war going on, like gang wars everywhere.
Yeah, right when he got back out of prison, there was a car chase of him like trying to get home.
Oh yeah, the movie begins with a car chase before the teachers have even been introduced. The movie starts with a car chase.
Yeah. So the teachers are introduced, and it's first start out with a chemistry teacher. It's some lady.
Yeah, Pam Grier.
Was that Pam Grier?
Yeah, I was happy to see her in this movie.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she does a good job in this movie, by the way.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Yes, and so the kids, of course, were acting like punks, starting shit and giving the teacher shit. And then you start to realize that she's a robot, because you see like the Terminator vision, like. With her, IDing the kids, goes through like trouble, going through all the operations of educate, discipline.
She's got all of their records in her database.
Yep. So she just goes up and beats the shit out of two kids, and then they're like, oh, everyone sits down, is all nice and happy about it.
She goes into discipline mode.
Yep. And then like it basically does that with the other two teachers as well. The history teacher, which is some old dude, which I loved his discipline mode, which was just spanking the shit out of these two guys. It was fucking hilarious.
That was pretty funny.
I loved it. Just spanking them. And it was hard. Like you could tell it was like robotic too, because it was just like up and down, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, that was epic.
That was so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Shit, what'd the other dude do?
He was the guy. Was he like a gym teacher?
He was
or
the gym teacher. Yeah. Yep. And he was like forcing them to do shit ton of push-ups and whatnot. And then he beat the shit out of the main character for some reason because he was, I forget why.
Yeah.
He was trying to break up a fight or something.
It's because the principal's daughter. Oh, the principal's played by Malcolm McDowell, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is, always fun to see him. But his daughter, who's played by, I think, Tracy Lind, or I don't know. She was that actress that she's in a bunch of weird, like, early 90s stuff. But anyway, his daughter, like, gets attacked by one of the gang members. And so the main character, like, stops because he's like trying to ravage her, and so he breaks it up, and then the gym teacher grabs him and starts beating the crap out of him.
Yep.
Even though he rescued the principal's daughter.
Yeah, I remember that. That's why. Yeah, because they just started going too hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually, these robot teachers start pushing the line.
Yeah, because they were being controlled by some scientist people,
played by Stacy Keach, wearing really strange looking eye contacts.
Yeah, he was fucking crazy.
His white mullet.
A white mullet and like fucking long black goatee or some shit.
Yeah, the white mullet was the funniest thing. Oh my god.
Funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I don't know, there's that, I don't know, it was just a random party scene too.
Oh yeah.
That they went to, I thought was funny because everyone was just, I guess it was the initiation of his little brother.
Yeah, played by Josh Miller from Near Dark.
I have no idea who the fuck that was. Yeah. But yeah, and they were just, what I thought was hilarious, so they were just shooting their guns in the party, just up in the air, just
they're just like that was their way of partying, shooting guns at each other.
Yeah. And then what's his face? The main character starts suspecting these teachers of being not right because he starts noticing they're doing a little bit hardcore capital punishment.
Yeah.
Because he got in an altercation it was in that wrestling. He was wrestling with the gym teacher and he was getting fucked up by him.
Yeah.
And then one of his friends
pulls a gun.
Yeah, he was super fucked up on drugs and pulls a gun on him. And then the gym teacher just snaps his neck.
Yeah.
And he says, so he's like, he went too far. The guy was messed up on drugs. He wasn't going to do anything. He was just messed up. But, the teacher, like the principal and all the scientists were defending the robot's actions.
Yeah.
But the main guy was like, no, not having it. He stole some info on the teachers. He learned where they lived. And it was weird. It was weird because they all lived in the same house.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is strange. They're all in the same apartment,
and they've got no food.
Yeah. So he brings the principal's daughter with him to break in and check it out.
Yeah.
It's completely empty. It has like some chairs, some vats of, I don't know, maybe like, I assume how they recharge or something.
Yeah,
I'm guessing
like some kind of battery packs or something.
Yeah. And that's about it. Couple pairs of clothes, and like the daughter was like, this lady just has one bra. Ladies just don't have one bra. That's not right. It's right.
That's when you can tell this movie might have been written by a man.
Right.
Because this woman, the female character, who's like the one female character in the whole movie, is like, aside from Pam Grier, is like, women have lots of clothes, and this lady only has one bra, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, why not? We'll go with it. I guess.
Sure. Yeah, and then what? Jeez. Oh yeah, they fucking.
Oh yeah, then
they come back. The robots come back while they're in there, and then another chase scene starts happening while he's on the bike.
Yeah, which is a badass, chase scene where he bikes off the dock. And,
right.
Yeah.
There were a few accidents I'm surprised people lived through, like that one.
Yeah.
He just fully beefed it off the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And that first chase scene in the very first scene where the truck flipped.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He was in the back and the truck flipped and he somehow got out of it no harm done. I was like, okay.
It's like they're used to just getting tossed around,
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, there are a lot of action scenes in this movie, by the way. Okay, so yeah, after after they try to chase the guy down, the robots decide to step it up a notch, and
they try. So what I also know is they drive off the dock into the water, and they walk out of the water.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But I'm pretty sure they get their car back somehow, right? They were driving it later in the movie, were they not?
I think so, but I can't remember. I mean,
another car.
I do know. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was.
It looked the same.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I guess maybe the car didn't end up sustaining that much damage when it went off the dock. Maybe.
How'd they get it out of the water? They just drag it out or something?
Maybe they used their robot strength. Who knows?
So yeah,
they end up inciting a gang war, don't they?
Yep, that's when they start taking it up to full craziness. They go all out and they kill one of the Razorhead's dudes, blame it and make it look like it's the Black Hearts.
Yeah.
And then they kill Cody's brother, Angel.
Yeah.
And make it look like the Razorheads did it. So it starts a war, a gang war, an all-out war.
Yeah.
And they
end up wandering through the battlegrounds, killing more gang members.
Yeah,
they're already doing a good job taking each other out, but the robots decide to jump in and kill some of the kids too.
They go behind the lines and just start killing everyone from behind.
Yeah, a lot of
taking them out.
Yeah, and then one of the gang members witnesses what one of the robots does. He rips one of them in half or something.
Oh, that was it was awesome. They were trying to get into the other guy's hideout, and he just pulls him right through the fucking wall and rips him in half.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're next, Cody."
Yeah.
And then he just blasts him too. Of course, he doesn't take any damage because he's a robot.
Yeah.
And then
crazy stuff.
Eventually, they all get out of that little war. The robots kill the principal.
Yeah.
And kidnap the daughter.
Yeah.
And they make it sound like I don't know, one of the other gangs, because it's still unclear that the robots started the gang war.
Right.
And Pam Grier modulates her voice to one of the other robots, or not other robots, other gang members saying that they have her. And they do the robots did the classic meet us here with both gang leaders.
Yeah.
That classic little trope of trying to get them in one spot, which works.
It worked in this one, but they managed to figure out a way to work together.
Yeah, they put aside their differences, and
I mean, even though mostly everybody is dead by the end of the film, they still managed to work together to stop the robots, or try to at least.
Yeah, they blow the school door open with a rocket launcher and start driving their motorcycles through the hallways.
Yeah,
which I thought was fairly impractical. They're going pretty slow, go around
into the
corners.
classroom.
Around
all the chairs.
Right.
Back out.
And if they'd started a fire, the whole school would have been up in flames within minutes.
Yeah, why? I still don't know why they were walking would have been faster than driving motorcycles through the hallways of a school.
Well, I guess they just were really impatient. and it's about this time that the robots reveal their secret weapons.
Yeah, they start weaponizing.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Pam Grier has a flamethrower.
Yeah.
So
Which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that was dope. It's a pretty high powered one too. It
Yeah.
had some distance on it.
Yeah, she took out like all those guys. Like,
oh yeah, she took out quite a number of guys.
Yeah.
And then the gym teacher, he had just a rocket launcher.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he was blowing people up.
Yeah.
And then the old dude,
he had like a neat
drill.
Drill.
Some claw drill fucking thing.
Yeah. So you get the great kind of thing where the drill goes into the guy's head and it's all messed up and bloody and gnarly. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have something like that, killer robot.
Mm-hmm.
Always fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then just the rest of the movies is main character taking him out.
Yep. And he gets away at the end, pretty much, or wait.
Yeah. So he kills the history teacher by just blasting him in the mouth with a gun because he has him pinned down, and he's reaching for a gun that's a couple inches away.
Yeah.
Blasts him in the face. He blasts him in the face, and he's like, "Your history, your history, Mr. Hardy."
Yeah. There were all kinds of funny punchlines.
I loved he had 3 of the punchlines for the fucking kills.
Yeah.
So how he kills Pam Grier is she's lighting people on fire. So he goes into the chemistry room and they turn on all the gas things, that chemistry rooms have.
Yeah.
And then he coaxes her into trying to shoot him with the flamethrower, and then it just explodes the entire room and kills her.
That was cool, by the way.
Yeah, that was a pretty good thing. And then once he gets up, he says, "Well, I guess I blew that course."
Yeah. That's one of the lines I wrote down.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, keep them coming, man. Just keep them coming. Oh man. And then, of course, the gym teacher was the final boss.
Yeah. He got a good climactic death, too.
Because he hit him over with a bus, which was... I was confused on how the bus exploded so heavily. It was a fucking huge explosion.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if that killed him. I don't know. And then a few minutes later, he crawls out. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that didn't kill him.
Yeah. And part of his exoskeleton is sort of hanging out and
looking super Terminator-y.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I liked how they killed him though. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
They fucking
decapitate him or something.
Yeah, they impale him with a forklift.
Right. Yeah.
And then he has the daughter grab in a hold, but she grabs some chains that were hanging, puts it around his neck. And then he just starts spinning the forklift, and it tightens the chains and pops his head off.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty ingenious. That's a pretty nice way to do it.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Of course, his line was, "Have a nice stretch, coach." I was like,
which,
all right.
It was a bit of a stretch. No pun intended, but. We'll go with it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And then he gets away with the girl.
Yeah, I think they're the only 2. I'm pretty sure that lived.
I think so. I think literally all the other characters died. I mean, I can't think of a single character that lived.
Nope.
Except for those 2.
Yeah, I think it was just them 2.
Yeah. Well, what'd you think of it?
It was good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Especially the last bit in the school there. Some really good effects with the cyborgs and shit.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, for a pre-Terminator 2 action horror movie, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Didn't really, yeah.
I mean, you can't help but love a movie that has Pam Grier, Malcolm McDowell, and Stacy Keach all in one. I mean, that's you gotta love that, But even without that, I still thought the action scenes were cool.
Yeah, I was surprised at how they were. I thought it was going to be cheesy, but some of them were pretty good.
Yeah, you could tell they had a bit more of a budget, and they actually could afford to do some good like set pieces and all that stuff. Like, so it ended up working out. I mean, it's very, they knew the audience that they were playing to, and they just, did everything that they could, and maybe overindulged in the crazy amount of violence and bloodshed. I mean, he has a really high body count.
Oh yeah.
But regardless, I mean, there's nothing more fun than watching killer robots messing people up.
It was good, straightforward. I liked it, and like a lot of these movies that we watch on this are just, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
What are we watching?
Yeah.
But this one was straightforward. I could follow it.
Yeah.
Killer robots. All right, I got you. I'm following you.
And I gotta say, I also kind of cared about the main character.
Yeah, he was cool. I liked him.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah. He's played by the guy who played an Eyeball in Stand By Me, which he was one of the bad people, bad characters in that movie. But in this film, he's the hero, which was cool.
Yeah.
So Class of 1984, just to kind of sort of summarize. I mean, have you seen Class of 1984?
Yeah, I watched it before I watched 1999.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you don't really need to.
Yeah, it really is a totally.
I mean, I got what was going on, so I figured I didn't need to.
Yeah.
No.
Well, Class of 1984. I mean, it was made in the early 80s. It was sort of it was also a kind of a science fiction film. I mean, not really in the same way that this was, but more in like a near future type of like ominous thing. It's about the school that's pretty much completely dysfunctional. It's being ruled by these bad kids who are having a kind of they basically run the school, and this new teacher shows up at the school who's like the music teacher, I believe.
Yeah.
And it basically, so he ends up having trouble with this one particular student who's the leader of one of these gangs, and it's an intense situation because the leader is actually he's a smart kid, and eventually it ends up becoming like a battle of wits and between this teacher and this student and these gangsters and all this stuff. And
it's another gang movie.
Yeah, it is. It is a gang movie, and it was kind of a cautionary tale. It was made in the early 80s. That was sort of warning about the future of youth violence and what that could look like and stuff like that. It's you watch it now and it's pretty dated. It's pretty like exploitative, and but there's an amazing scene in it though where because Roddy McDowall is in it, and there's a scene which actually, if you watch it now, it's pretty politically incorrect and probably would be pretty offensive to a lot of people these days. But he pulls a gun on his classroom full of students and teaches his class at gunpoint. Like it's an amazing scene, and that scene is the reason I love that movie. Like that's one of the most brilliant like scenes I've ever seen in any 80s movie.
Was it action? Is it an action movie or is it?
It kind of becomes one. Like it's sort of a build up to like this big battle that happens at the end, kind of like this movie, but this movie is basically just nothing but fight scenes and action scenes all leading to one giant massive like spectacle, whereas Class of 1984 is sort of a little bit more of a slow burner that quickly becomes more and more violent as it goes along. It's, I mean, I wouldn't really say it's a good movie exactly, but I really, it is good though in a way, like because it is sort of like a culture, like for the time. It was kind of it's an interesting sort of cultural film, I feel like, that represents sort of the fear that was going on in the early 80s regarding like Reagan and the sort of paranoia that was going on about the future of education, But then the sequel to Class of 1999 called Class of 1999 Part 2, The Substitute, is more related to 1999, and it's a piece of crap, and I don't recommend it. I believe it was made for TV. Like I think it was made for like Showtime or Cinemax or something. And so it's a lot cheaper than Class of 1999. And it's just terrible. There's only one killer robot in it. And at one point in the film, like eventually like it's like the plot just kind of stops and all the teachers decide to just play paintball. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, halfway through the movie, the teachers do this giant paintball fight with each other, which, you know, of course, how it's gonna go. Like, the paintballs are gonna be replaced with real bullets, or, you know, the stupid Child's Play 3 crap where, like, you already know it's gonna go in that direction as soon as you find out that happens, and it's just terrible. It's really badly made, and I don't recommend it.
Were there robots in 1984 one?
No
robots.
No robots. So.
Okay.
So you said you saw Class of 1984?
Yeah.
What did you think of that one personally?
I didn't really like it until like the final half an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it made up for the rest of it, but
yeah. The final half an hour is pretty much the main reason to see Class of 1984.
Which one's better, 99 or 84?
I mean,
to me, I'd say 99.
I'd say Class of 99 is more entertaining. I'd say, but I still really love the Roddy McDowell teacher holding his class at gunpoint sequence, like. Which just that one scene alone, it kind of puts it just slightly above Class of 1999 for me personally. But I still would have to say Class of 1999 was the more entertaining of the two. So.
Okay. I'll have to watch it now then.
Yeah. If you're curious, you know. Yeah. So yeah, no, good pick.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I liked it. I'll give it a 3.5.
Yeah.
Another 3.5.
Yeah, I think I'd probably give it like a 3.
Something I'd put on in the background, one of those background movies.
Yeah, definitely. It's good.
I also gave it a 3.5.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything like about it that you especially thought was cool, or?
I really liked the effects of the cyborgs at the end.
Yeah.
Like when they were showing off their secret weapons or whatever. I just thought that was really well done.
Yeah, I was confused at first with Pam Grier because he stabbed her and then she just started melting. I was like, wait, what? You can die by stabbing? Nope, it was just her taking out her gun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I rewound it a couple times, that scene, because I was like, wait, how did he kill her by just stabbing her? Was it some special knife or something? And then I don't get it. And then I waited 10 more seconds and I was like, oh, okay, she's just whipping out her gun.
Yeah. I'd seen this before, but I didn't remember the effects being as good as they were.
Yeah, pretty good for 90s, early 90s.
Yeah. And all practical, no CGI.
One thing I thought was stupid was that they said that they can't be monitored. Those robots can't be monitored unless they're in the school.
Oh yeah, what the
fuck?
Then what was the point of even having them? Like, can't be monitored. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there you go. Class of 1999.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, so my pick was Ice Cream Man.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Which stars Clint Howard. And to be honest, I mean, that was pretty much the main reason I chose it, was because it had Clint Howard in it. And I was like, all right, well, may as well watch another Clint Howard movie. Because we already saw Carnosaur and Ticks. So.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So
sure,
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm sure we're gonna keep seeing him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So Ice Cream Man. So the film starts with a flashback.
Is that what it was? I have no idea what that was.
Okay, so there's this I forget what the guy's name was. He's some ice cream man. And some gangbusters show up and, gat him. They pop a cap in him, which was actually really funny. Like that was a funny way to start a movie like this. I was watching a drive-by shooting of an ice cream man. I'm like, must have done something bad, I guess.
Yeah, with no explanation.
Yeah. And some little dork. I guess it's trying to be like Halloween a little bit, the opening scene of that, where you got the kid outside holding the knife or whatever, except in this movie he's holding an ice cream cone, and he's like, oh, who's gonna give me ice cream now or deliver ice cream?
Yeah, I wrote that one.
Yeah.
Who's gonna bring me ice cream, mommy?
Yeah.
I laughed at that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
And so somehow this one incident where this kid witnesses a gang shooting, somehow that turns him into a psychopathic, cannibalistic serial killer.
Is he cannibalistic?
Well, I mean, maybe. If he's not cannibalistic, he certainly feeds other people.
Yeah, he's feeding people.
Yeah.
I didn't see him eat any ice cream.
Yeah,
Even.
maybe he didn't, but I mean, that incident, is what incites him on a long, hard road through hell in an insane asylum. And when he gets out, he's certainly not the same person that he was before. He's completely deranged, and is. I mean, the film doesn't really. The film does a lot of implying, but it's pretty obvious that he's going around killing people and putting them in his ice cream and feeding them to his customers, which, I mean, I don't know, kind of a dorky plot.
I was like, oh, damn it.
I didn't realize that it was going to be him so basically this movie is kind of like another sort of, it kind of reminded me of Satan's Little Helper a little bit. In that it kind of reminds me of like maybe somebody was writing an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps or something and ended up getting a little too carried away with what they were writing.
That's exactly what I put in my Letterboxd review. It said
Goosebumps
episode with gore.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this is. Yeah. It's I think they're trying to go for like a Norman Rockwell Goes to Hell type of thing, kind of reminds me of the movie Parents a little bit and other films like that, Satan's Little Helper. But I mean, there is sort of a plot. There's this kid named Tuna who, I mean, he's supposed to be overweight, but
he was wearing a fat suit.
Yeah, he
was wearing a goddamn fat suit.
It's really clear. It's very, very obvious that this kid is actually quite thin and that he's wearing a lot of padding under his clothing.
They had a fat kid fall down moment too.
Yeah, they had it.
And he gets winded in almost every scene.
Yeah.
It's almost like this movie was trying to make a lot of fat jokes, but they didn't have any fat or overweight people to play the character who would be the butt of these jokes. So instead, they just cast some skinny kid and put a bunch of padding in his clothes and then called him fat. It's like,
I think it was just for that one part at the very end where he like, oh, good job. He like pats his belly because he lost the weight.
Yeah, or just took the fat suit off.
Like, what?
Why?
Like, that's the whole reason he was fat throughout the rest of the movie?
Yeah, it was so that he could be thin at the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's actually a bunch of kid characters in this film, although 3 of them don't even do anything. I mean, they're barely even one-dimensional characters. The only kid who is interesting at all, my favorite character is Small Paul.
Oh yeah, Small Paul.
And I don't know who the actor is who plays him, but whoever he is, he prides himself off of looking like Macaulay Culkin. I mean, he really amps up the Macaulay Culkin, like to the point where it almost feels like he's making fun of him, which was great because I didn't really like Macaulay Culkin as an actor when he was younger, and so it was kind of fun to watch a kid make fun of him for an hour and a half. But basically, so this ice cream man's going around killing people, and he kills a dog, he kills kids. Olivia Hussey plays a woman who's like his caretaker, which I thought was strange because Olivia Hussey, like when she was in this movie, she wasn't actually that old, but they put glasses on her and pull her hair back and call her a senior citizen.
Yep.
From what I got from it was she was also a mental patient.
Yes. Yeah. So the twist is that pretty much she and the ice cream man both came from the same institute. Actually, this movie has a few people in it besides Clint Howard and Olivia Hussey. I think also David Warner is in it as well, who played Lovejoy in Titanic. So talk about yeah. So there's a connection. There's a James Cameron connection to this movie. And then also somebody else is in it. Oh, David Naughton from American Wolf in London is in it. All the parent characters in this movie suck. They don't really do anything.
Yeah.
The kids don't really do anything. The overweight main character, he spends most of the movie hiding from the ice cream man because he's afraid that the ice cream man is stalking him.
Which he is.
Which is true. Yeah, he is. There's a chase scene in a supermarket.
I wrote that down.
Yeah.
There's a kid being chased in a supermarket and no one's giving a fuck.
Yeah, it's a very, very public chase.
Yeah. And everyone's just getting groceries.
Yeah.
While some guy's chasing this fat kid around.
Yeah, and and so these kids have plenty of reason to be worried. I mean, he kills one of the members of the gang. He kidnaps the Macaulay Culkin looking kid, Small Paul, and actually starts sort of training him in the art of ice cream making.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an interesting twist. The kid's able to sort of outsmart the ice cream man by sort of playing on his level and sort of indulging him a little bit,
Did he, though?
Well,
that kid could have easily got away too.
he could have. There were a lot of opportunities where he could have gotten away. There were a lot of. I mean, he was a smart enough kid. He could, and he was small Paul. Duh. He could have escaped into the ventilation ducts that were literally like all over the place.
Yeah, like when he put him through the hole first, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'll just start running. I was like, run, dude, run.
Yeah,
Like, no.
it was.
That's why I didn't think he was outplaying him. I thought he was actually being indoctrinated.
Yeah,
that was how I saw it.
I mean,
Like
for
he
being
was teaching him his the ice cream king. He's like, yeah, that guy, he's awesome.
Yeah, he was like his hero. I mean, for a kidnapped victim, he certainly didn't seem too panicked about the fact that he was kidnapped.
Yeah.
So
what's that syndrome? Fucking.
I don't know. I forget.
Stockholm.
Yeah, Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
But let's see. Clint Howard acts like Clint Howard. I'm actually, he really actually isn't super interesting in this movie. He pretty much camps it up like he always does in all of his roles. Acts jittery and odd and looks and puts on the ugliest expressions constantly, and is pretty insane. He feeds eyeballs to a police officer.
How do they not taste that shit?
I don't know. That
was
must
like
have
a
been...
long shot on his mouth too.
Yeah.
When he was like chewing it up. Like,
yeah, this movie's disgusting. It shows a lot of close-ups of like.
That's one thing I noticed with the first couple minutes. I was like, oh, this movie's making me feel sick.
Yeah.
This is gross.
It's pretty gnarly. Yeah.
Just the feeling of it too, not even necessarily like the gore and shit. It was just like, I feel kind of icky watching this.
Yeah, it had a really awkward, uncomfortable feel to it. It was very strangely edited.
Oh yeah, that was my biggest complaint. It was like just a fucking mashup of scenes.
Yeah, a lot of the shots were out of focus. A lot of them were not centered. A lot of them were too close. The movie was not very well made. Visually, it was not much to look at. A lot of the scenes took place at night for some reason, which is strange because you think Ice Cream Man, oh, music, happy, but it's pretty. I mean, the film looks like, crap. A lot of the colors tend to be kind of brownish, blackish sort of palette. There's a lot of references to the Pied Piper, which I don't know why, because there's barely even a connection there. It's not even a connection. Like the Ice Cream Man. That's not really much of a service. Like giving ice cream to kids, like, okay, but they could just get ice cream at the grocery store, at a gas station, or so. Like, it's not like there's any desperate need for an ice cream man in the world. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's cool if people like to go around in a car, with fancy public domain music playing, giving out ice cream, but it's not like you're saving the world by doing that. So like to compare it to somebody who rids a disease-ridden town full of rats, like not really quite working,
I didn't get that either.
Yeah,
there was more. They mentioned it. The Boy Who Cried Wolf. That was more of an apt comparison. Since
agreed.
No one believed the kids at the Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, they were trying to kind of establish sort of a fairy tale theme, but Boy Who Cried Wolf is much more accurate to what's going on in this movie.
The cops, the cops went to his place and, with a search warrant or whatever, and just knocked over all the ice cream jugs and just made a huge ass mess. They got covered in ice cream. Yeah. But they didn't check his truck.
Yeah, which
I'm like, all right,
that would have been the first thing I checked.
Hey guys, his truck, hello.
Yeah. They smash his place up. He's sitting there all depressed. Who's going to deliver the ice cream? Doing all that stuff. Which it's not like that's what breaks him, because he was already killing people and feeding people to each other like before his place got smashed up. So it's not like that really made him worse or better. I did like the scene where the police officers go to the insane asylum, though.
Yeah, that was about the only scene I liked.
Yeah. That whole sequence, actually, I found genuinely scary, I must admit. Like, only because, like, the idea of that, of getting stuck in an insane asylum where the patients have taken over the place, like,
that was weird.
That's a pretty terrifying idea, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the movie did it really that well, but it was kind of a creepy concept.
Yep. What I thought was weird about that was, there was that one cop that was, running. Mm. Then the other cop was just kind of walking, looking at him. He's just kind of walking, chilling.
Yeah.
And like the one guy that ran out to the car, he made it to the car, and then the guy that was just walking kind of turned around and just started shooting at him, like all casually the whole time too. And then after he was done shooting at him, he just casually kept walking.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this guy?
It was a weird scene, like, because not even the cops were behaving normally.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say what he said. He was just casually pointing his gun, like.
Yeah. And then it was like, was it the same time when they did find him at the night? Like they got to the truck at night, and said, what is he doing at night? And then he was on top of the truck, and then he jumped down and just knocked them out.
Somehow he knocked them both out dead cold
with 2 ice cream scoops.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
At one point, he's using their severed heads for hand puppets. And then I gotta admit, I appreciated the fact that the 2 kids. It was some girl and some other boy. I don't even remember what they looked like. Like, they did almost nothing in this movie, but I did appreciate the fact that as they were running from him, and they were capable of outrunning him. I mean, they got much shorter legs, but they both end up tripping over dust particles on their way, like trying to get away.
Of course.
A couple times actually, and so I appreciate the fact that the film was at least trying to sort of stay true to the usual slasher movie formula, where no matter how slow the killer's going, the people that are running from him somehow manage to find ways to go slower. I mean, that was funny to me, I will say. There were some surreal little images. There's the part where he puts the waffle cone on David Mountain's face.
Oh yeah, fucking waffle irons his face.
And then he puts his head in an ice cream cone and gives it, which was like, yeah. But yeah, then eventually they take him out though, after a big long battle. I mean,
I don't even remember how.
Yeah, I think they like throw him in the machine.
Oh right, yeah, they threw him in that.
Yeah, which was a little anticlimactic, but.
Yeah.
And then
the one-liner for that I wrote down.
Yeah.
Who's the Pied Piper now, ice cream dick?
Yeah. That was funny. And then it kind of implies that the Macaulay Culkin kid is gonna become a psychotic killer, just like the ice cream man, which I could have predicted. I mean,
that's why I think he wasn't fooling him or anything. He just had a change of heart when his friends showed up.
Yeah.
He fooled the ice cream man with a picture of that guy he worships.
Yeah.
And he like put it over his face and a flashlight on him and lured him in.
Yeah, it ends up being that kid that ends up taking him out. Cause
Small Paul.
Small Paul takes out the ice cream man.
Yeah, with a picture of his
hero who gets shot by gang members at the beginning, which it turns out it was because like a drug deal gone wrong or something. Like, it was like the most random thing. Like
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, they mentioned in like a newspaper article or something, and that was the reason the guy gets shot at the beginning, was because of drugs. Like,
oh god.
And that's pretty much it. You know, I guess it's kind of fun to watch the kid be weird, and it's kind of fun to watch Clint Howard act like an idiot. He sucked as an ice cream man. They couldn't he
couldn't scoop for shit.
He couldn't scoop for shit. He barely even put any ice cream inside. He put like one thing on top, and he didn't use any paper towels or anything. He got it all over his hands. It was wicked messy. The ice cream barely even looked like it didn't even look cold. It looked like it was like melting.
And shit for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think he had very good a very good freezer. Which, I mean, of course, like, the freezer's full of cockroaches and eyeballs and body parts anyway, so probably not the best place to keep ice cream. But even so, it didn't seem like the refrigeration on it was very good. But maybe the people behind the making of this movie couldn't afford good refrigeration. And I looked up the director, and, you know, it's an adult filmmaker, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah, and after watching the movie, I guess I'm not really surprised.
That lady that wanted that was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
She totally wanted his dick. She like tried to get him to come with him, and he just like, no.
That was
I don't think he understood that she was trying to get a booty call on him.
That was ridiculous. It's like, there were a lot of characters in this movie that didn't even really need to be in this movie. Like, there was that one girl's father who was like a religious fanatic, but they don't even do anything with it.
And the mom was speaking tongues for what reason?
Yeah, I mean, I think the people behind this movie had a very peculiar sense of humor. Not unlike the people who made the Vagrant, actually, I'd say. You know, I mean, sort of a weird sense of humor in that same way.
I like the line, I don't know who said it, but now it makes sense that it was made by a porn director. A creamsicle for a custard pie? Yeah. I think it was that lady, but I don't remember who said it. I just wrote it down. I was like, oh, goddamn it.
I read that they were that at one point they were thinking about, or I think they were trying to crowdfund money to make a sequel.
Oh yeah.
What?
I think I saw
but
that.
But I looked it up, and I guess that was like years ago, and I don't think it made enough money, so I guess it just never happened. But I don't know, like, I'd be curious almost, though, in a way to, I mean, maybe I'm not that curious, but I would be kind of curious though to see how Clint Howard would do it now, because like,
isn't he like be in it?
I mean, who else could play the ice cream man?
Well, he's dead though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it would have to be a prequel. But Clint Howard looks so much older now than he did then, which is funny because he already looked like older than his age then.
Yeah.
So, not really a good movie, but
no, I did not like it.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I was entertained by it. It kept my attention, but it wasn't really, didn't blow my socks off or anything like that. I mean, I mostly just watched it for curiosity's sake, and so I already knew it was probably not going to be any good anyway, and I don't know, it was bad, but kind of in an interesting way. So I mean, I'd probably give it like a 2 out of 5, maybe 3. I don't know. I'd have to think about it, but probably 2.
I'd give it like a half. I did not like it at all. Honestly, I did not like it.
What would you say was worse, this or Things?
This.
Oh, interesting.
At least Things was somewhat interesting. Yeah. It was like, what the fuck is this? But this was just like, I mean, no.
Yeah.
This is like more straightforward, but just bad and like stupid.
Okay, that's fine.
Things was interesting to watch. This is just fucking gross and weird and fucking dumb.
Yeah. What about you?
I initially gave it a 3, but after talking about it, I'm gonna give it a 2.
Yeah. would you say this was better or worse than Satan's Little Helper?
Ooh, I think it's better.
Yeah. Yeah, I personally enjoyed it more, but mainly because the last half hour of Satan's Little Helper just sucked, in my opinion.
Yeah, just the video quality wasn't that great for Satan's Little Helper.
Yeah, like at least this sort of led somewhere and had like at least a couple sort of interesting things going on. I mean, I really did enjoy the whole concept of the insane asylum and the crazy inmates taking it over and running it. Like,
I'll give it a star for that.
Yeah, I mean,
bump it up.
Like that kind of idea could make a good plot on its own. And actually, there's a great horror movie from the 70s with that same plot about inmates taking over an asylum. What's it called? It's one of those don't something movies. Don't Look in the Basement, I think it's called. I think that's the one. Yeah. That's a pretty scary one. And that has that kind of plot about institution being overrun. I guess I'm glad I watched it.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not gonna complain about a Clint Howard movie. If I willingly watch a Clint Howard movie, I'm not gonna complain about it.
Yeah. I had it on Blu-ray, so
perfect.
Glad to have finally watched it.
Nice.
It had all the cool special features and all sorts of stuff.
It does. It has a bunch. It's another Vinegar Syndrome release.
Nice. All right.
I had to watch it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I think I watched it on Prime. I'll admit I paid the money for it. Just I don't know. I try not to watch stuff on YouTube only because like I feel I always run the risk of things being edited or censored, and I can't stand that kind of thing, because it's just really distracting to like watch something and then a black bar appears over like something, So I bit the bullet. I'm like, it's a Clint Howard movie, and I watched it on Amazon. So
I was thinking about doing that actually, but because when I Googled it, there was a Riff Tracks one.
Oh, okay.
And it was just the Riff Tracks one and then the Amazon one, and I didn't want to maybe pay $3 for it to be the Riff Tracks one again. Yeah. So I was like, let's see if it's anywhere else, and it was on YouTube. And
perfect.
Made sure it wasn't a Riff one. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the movie's not. I mean, it's gross, but it's not really that gory. So I'm sure there wasn't really anything that they cut out on YouTube anyway. So
the runtime was exactly the same and everything.
Yeah. So. Cool. Yeah. All right. Overall, Ice Cream Man. I might watch it one more time at some point in my life if I'm like really in the mood to watch a Clint Howard movie. If that ever happens again, I mean, it could. So.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, So, do you guys want to choose your picks now for the next thing that we're gonna? So we're gonna kind of go like you could choose like either like an 80s or a 90s movie, and it's pretty much up to you guys what you want. So.
Yeah. My pick was gonna be Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers.
It's a cool title. One of those Fred Olen Ray movies.
I'm not sure. It's got Leanna Quigley in it.
Oh, okay. I like that.
And I think Gunnar Hansen.
I guess that would make sense with the chainsaw theme. So, I've seen a few Fred Olen Ray movies, and I mean they're pretty terrible, but I don't know. I'd still be willing to watch Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. So.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're going with that one then.
Yeah, that's my choice.
Excellent. Do you have a choice or?
Deadfall.
Okay.
93.
Deadfall. I don't think I've seen that.
I haven't either.
Okay.
It's a Nick Cage movie.
Ooh, nice. All right.
I've been waiting for a Nick Cage movie.
Yeah, Deadfall. Let's do it. My choice is since you went with a New Zealand Australian movie, I'm gonna go with this one. It's called Death Warmed Up.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I think it was made in like the mid '80s. I'm curious about it. So.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Nice.
It's cool. So these are all movies that none of us have seen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
Excellent.
boy.
That's gonna be cool. Stoked.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess until next time, just take care and peace and have a good night.
Yeah. Take it easy.
Wash your hands.
Yes. Yes. Wash your hands, be safe, and be smart, but don't panic. Just be smart. All right. Good night.